Good afternoon. Let me know when you're jumping on. Just getting set up here. Don't know if you can hear the wind. It's super windy today, and even windier at my house. Hi, Nancy. Welcome today. Hi, Kelly. Nice to have you ladies back. I love having my usual friends join me. It's so nice. I was just telling someone that I've had a few consistent people joining every day, and it's much appreciated, everyone. I have like 2 minutes till 4, so while we're waiting for a couple people to jump on, I'll show you. I was kind of late. I'm doing some drawing classes for... Hi, Patricia. We missed you yesterday. I'm doing some drawing classes for St. Francis. So I was showing them how to draw hair. And so I was drawing a koala and had to pause to jump online. He's a cute little guy. Oh. I'll finish him up when I'm done here. That's a great one, Nancy. I have a lot of whoopses. Okay, I have a nice little crew on, so in the essence of time, I will get started. So I hope you all have a drawing utensil and some paper. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Try to, use a notebook instead of scrap paper. Because scrap paper, you'll have the tendency to toss. And, if you do it on nice paper, you keep it. Ooh, don't want to show that. That's pretty old. That's why I like my notebook. This was actually a sketchbook that a professor gave me when I graduated college. And so I decided to, start filling it with all my Zentangle patterns. So that's kind of how I've been working. But again, it'll serve as a nice reference when I want to, I'm never going to remember all of these. So it'll be a good reference to refer back to and practice. So I hope you have, even a regular notebook with lines is good. Sometimes those lines can come in handy as guidelines. So these are a little more challenging today. They're more organic, linear patterns. So I'm actually going to do a nice border up here. And while I'm at it, I'm going to draw a second border in for our other one. We actually have 3 patterns today, but I'll usually try to do 2 on a page if I can. Hi, Anna. 3rd day in a row. Thanks for joining. The first one is pretty simple, and I always write the names at the top. That's a Y. If you've been with us, I do not have the best handwriting. I try to when I'm on here. So the first one is Yincut, and this is a pretty easy one. So grab your pencil, and what we do here, a couple diagonal lines. I'll throw a couple in just to fill up my square. Depends on how big your square is and how much space you have. So we have our diagonal set of lines there. And now we're going to do opposite. Now I'm lightly sketching these in. If you want to push a little darker, you can. If you might be using micron pens, I'll show them again. Actually, I have them right up there. Micron pens are perfect for Zentangle. They're archival, so they won't fade or get goofy over time. I'll show you what happens if we're using Sharpie. it kind of bled through the page, but see that pink hue? It's pretty old, so that's why microns are better to use. So with our Yincut, we're pretty much going to be doing like every other row. So I'm just going to pick a row. I'm going to pick a triangle, not a triangle, diamond here. And we're going to give ourselves a set of vertical lines. I have quite the crew on today. Hi everyone, thanks for joining. You know, sometimes I go over them with my micron pens, but I'll make my lines a little darker so you guys can see better. I'm afraid my light pencil marks are not good enough. So while you are sketching, I will draw these darker. There we go, much better. And then I'm going to go to the next one, same way. And this is pretty much our pattern, almost kind of similar to what we were doing yesterday. I didn't review yesterday's tangles with us. Getting some messages on my phone, sorry. These were the ones that we did yesterday, and the Kiko is kind of similar for the Yincut that we're doing, but you can see the tangle that I made with yesterday's tangles and one from the day before. So I used a little bit of pencil and a micron pen there, so I was playing around, you know, while we were finishing up our session yesterday. So on to the next, I'm not going to do all of these. I could be here forever drawing. Next section. So I'll do 2 rows. And I'm moving a little quick, so don't panic. You take your time, and you can always finish later on. I like this one because, as opposed to Knightsbridge, let's see if I can find that. Or even the jonquil that we did. That's a good one. I think Knightsbridge I did really early. Or not. Knightsbridge right there in my face. The pattern that we're working on right now is a lot nicer than this, because if you don't want to color in and you're getting tired, you know, sometimes our hands get tired and, you know, we need to shake them out. This is a great way to fill in those patterns without coloring them in. So the next step for our Yincut is take the opposite rows and then do horizontal lines. So now we'll do horizontal and vertical. And this could give us a nice fun pattern. Again, without having to color the whole thing in. So it's a little easier on your hand. I know some of you, when we first started, were saying, you know, your hands are getting tired, and that happens with anything. Okay, so you essentially just fill in the whole pattern, or the whole design, with this pattern. Again, I'm not going to do it all, but I'll do this. I'll finish this row out. I might be able to take a break on the whole thing, but I can't not finish a row. So there you go. Again, this is a nice, fun, simple pattern. Again, repetition is always a good thing. And you're just bouncing back and forth from horizontal to vertical lines. Okay. Simple, simple. The next one is Locar. And this one's a little more challenging. It's just, it takes time. So and it's funny how I'm referring back to a lot of these now. Remember when we did Hollabah, those that have been with me for a little while. And if you're new, that's awesome because you can jump in with this anytime. You can learn the tangles that we're learning today, and you can go back and watch other videos if you'd like. We actually do have a YouTube channel. It's Sama Art Online, so you can catch not only my classes, but things that were offered from Sama Ligonier, Sama Bedford, Sama Altoona. There's all kinds of stuff that we're doing online. But the Hollabaugh, we start with one line, and then everything else goes underneath of it. So this is how this Locar is as well. We're going to start with one line, and I'm just going to take it the whole way through, almost the whole way through. And if you join me for my botanical days there, we're almost drawing a stem. And this one's a little weird, a little different. So what we're going to do is give ourselves little tiny branches. So I'm going to space mine out and do about 5. We'll see how they fit. Yeah, that looks about good. So I did 5 there. And then the next step, I'll give you guys a sec to get caught up. So our next step now, we're going to go under our first line. Okay, so almost a little crossover. You can curve these if you want. They say organic, but they look like a series of X's to me. Now, I guess I could have made these like a little more curved so they don't look as uniform. So maybe I'll do that. And just going over it right now looks a little better. Okay, now we're gonna flip into the other side, and same theory. I'm gonna move mine up a little bit so they're not like the same. Maybe they're not so symmetrical. I'm gonna make them a little more free form. This one was not free form. But hey, Kelly, I didn't use my eraser. I'm just going over it. Did you ever hear the saying, teachers make the worst students? That's me. Actually, I don't think so. I'm a pretty particular student. And now we're going to come down. So a little different on this side. This one's just a little more, whoops, I went over that. Just a little more time consuming. And now, let me grab a micron pen. Thanks, Kelly. So if I were to do this one, I would sketch it first. And this is why, I tend to, see, I already messed up. This is why I tend to do pencil first. Because you're supposed to make these look like they're... So where they attach to the branch, you should not do a line there. That's where I goofed up. But that's okay, we're all learning together. So it looks a little better. I don't know what I'm doing here. Looks a little better once you do it with a micron pen. And then, you can certainly go in and erase those lines. And it looks a lot neater, I think. So there are perks to using your pencils. But anyway, like I said, I messed up there. Now I can't erase that, but we'll just move on, because chances of somebody noticing that if you're doing it in a tangle, slim to none. It's probably why I like this, because it always says there is no mistakes. Just move on. Or maybe you create your own little pattern. So there we go. And there we have it. Oops, finished my lines there. So that's Locar, and really what they expect you to do. I forgot to finish that one. You know, do this one multiple times. Once you get your pencil lines out of there, once I get my pencil lines out of there, it looks a little better. I think the more curved your lines are, the better off we are. Now, you could fill up a space with these. You could do multiples. Maybe you do a smaller one if you wanted. So there's my smaller one. And I would come down. And again, when I think organic, I think more curved. But do whatever makes you comfortable. Again, so you have your little branch there. I guess it's organic. It's more tree-like, but a lot of overlapping. So on the right side, then you bring them down and under. Down and under. Okay, I will not outline that one, but just so you guys get the feel of it. Practice, practice, practice. You don't always have to. As a matter of fact, if you don't like a tangle, you don't have to do it. I think this one has potential if I practice with it more. I just haven't quite gotten the feel for it. I did it twice before I did it for you guys. So 3, 4, maybe the 5th time's the charm. Okay. So our last tangle we're going to do, I'm going to draw my border. And this one has a funny name. Verdigogh. Now it doesn't sound funny, but it's spelled funny. Verdigogh. Someone just gave me a little heart. Yeah. Vincent van Gogh. I don't know, that kind of made me laugh. So again, this one is more organic, more branch-like, but a little different. And I'm actually going to pretty much carry this one up to the top. I know I always kind of draw these at an angle. If you want to mix it up and try the other side, by all means. That's the best part about practicing them. Once you get comfortable with them, you can do them differently, different ways. So practice, 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 and just like everything else. All right. Now our next step, we're going to do long branches. And I am going to kind of square them off at the ends. These ones were new to me. I've never seen these ones before. I have a book. I have actually 2 books on how to teach children. The one book I am learning from is for adults. So these ones are gonna curve a little differently. They're gonna kind of curve out, and we're still gonna square them off at the ends. Okay. I like Vincent van Gogh too, Kylie. I saw an exhibition of his in Philly a couple years ago. And it was brought tears to my eyes. It was really cool to see some of that stuff in person. Some of his sunflowers. Okay, so we have 3 starter branches on each side. And this will kind of get us through our next step. And, you know, I'm moving my notebook. I'm sorry. I hope, you know, that's not really affecting anybody. I try to keep it situated, but it's a little difficult with some of these tangles. So what I want you guys to do is come up a little bit from your first branch. I think mine are a little thin, but that's okay. We're going to shoot that one straight out. And believe it or not, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. But I'm going to leave this one down a little bit. And, oh, I'm going to go out of my border a little bit. I think that's the one fun thing about Zentangles too, is if you're practicing your designs. Oh, Kelly, I used my eraser. Oh, well, I started. I might as well use it again. You know, you can break down those borders. You don't always have to have a perfect square. Let me see what I'm working on. Here's a good one. I do have a border here, but for this one, I kind of let the tangles be my guide, and it's really not a flush edge. Now, I did draw guidelines in there, but once I started with my tangles, then I thought, well, I'm going to remove those. So don't be afraid to kind of go off of your edge. All right, back to our tangle. Sorry, guys. I get so excited talking about things. So we're just going to do a simple straight line. And then this one over here, let's bring it right up next to the one that we just drew. Let's go. We're essentially just filling up space. But if you notice, we'll come straight out with that one. And we'll come over here. And we're going to come straight out again. If you notice, every branch that we add now goes behind our first set of branches. So I think as long as you would keep up with that, you would have this tangle you would do this tangle justice. I'm going to go in and do a little filler here. And just add another one. All right, you ready for another one? Let's do another layer. I'm going to carry this one out. And then here's a tricky one. I'm going to carry it behind all those. Okay, guys? And they don't have to be exactly like mine. You can be making your own version. Again, I think as long as each little branch or stick or, you know, whatever you might want to call it, is behind the one that we just did, it's just fine. I'm going to curve that one because I want to do something a little different. I'm going to come over here and throw one in there. I think I'll do another one here. And again, I'm just kind of filling in. I think the idea is to just have it nice and full. And that looks pretty good. I might quit there. What do you think? Think it looks done? Now the interesting thing about this one is different from this. They kind of drew all the individual branches. So you don't have to make them look like they're connected. Which I thought was interesting because they take the time to do that for some of these, and then others they don't. So anyway, that's kind of what that one would look like if you started laying it out in color. Or not color, with a micron pen or... So it does make a difference when you use the micron pens. And again, I don't, I start more with a sketch and then I go in and go over with a micron pen. So, you know, whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever you want to do, however you feel you can best handle it. My goodness, can you guys hear that wind? It is super wicked here. Anyway, so there's the half of it done, and that looks pretty good with the micron pen. So I might, you know, maybe I'll go finish it later. Those are the 3 I have for you today, but I did want to share a couple things with you since I have a few more minutes left. Not much time, but I wanted to show you some that I just started sketching out while I was practicing today. So I'm going to set those aside. And there they are. Sometimes I'm so organized, I'm unorganized. So I just started to do these today. I am working on a little fundraiser project for a local library. And I thought since I was teaching you guys tangles, that maybe I would make some tangles for them to sell when the library opens again. But you know, you can create any kind of shape. You could do a flower. They can be abstract like I've been showing you. If you look up Zentangle patterns or ideas, my goodness, you can get so many ideas. I mean, there are like portraits that are done in Zentangle. I saw an elephant one which was so much more detailed than this one. It was more like an elephant's head, but I'm kind of feeling like a kid these days. So anyway, so I'm going to draw this guy, and I'm going to fill him in with Zentangles. And you know, these don't cost much to do, but they are super time consuming. So if it's something that you get into and start to sell, you know, just be mindful of time and energy put into it. The elephant I liked. The apple, I don't know. We'll see. I have problems working with a square format, so it's kind of been a challenge for me. I usually draw and then I crop, so to fill like a whole sheet of paper. I should have really made it a little smaller, I guess. But, you know, again, you could do a banana. That would be fun. Zentangle a banana. It's a good idea. A butterfly would be a great one. What else? Maybe a goldfish. Darn it. I don't like how that stem turned out, but instead of adding a leaf, just because in the essence of time and space I didn't have it, there's my quick apple I did in a few minutes, and I do have like 3 lines here drawn as my strings to break up and put different patterns in there, but that's a pretty big pattern, so I might try this instead. Maybe I'll do, there's 4, I don't know, maybe I'll do in 5 and break it up a little bit. Now with your strings, you know, you do not have to trace those. Let me see another example here. I'll pull this one back out just because I used it before. I did not draw the strings, but you can see where, you know, they would be just by the patterns. You know, this was one area, but I wouldn't recommend drawing them. They're just more of like a guideline. So I would, you know, maybe use that then as a pattern to do our Yincut that we just did. And then maybe I would make that pattern there. But anyway, you could do a seahorse. You could go back into all the ones that I shared with you. I don't know if I have those examples with me. Let me see. I do not. They must be downstairs. You could do letters, block letters, and then do someone's name or last name, maybe as a wedding gift. You know, there's all kinds of fun ways you can use Zentangles. So share what you're doing, and I can't wait to see what you're creating. Tomorrow we have 3 more patterns, I believe. Check my notes. We have 3 more patterns. Again, they're more organic. One's more like it says squid, but it looks like a flower, and maybe some leaves. But join us tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and make sure you follow our other Facebook pages if you're looking for something creative. We have all got fun and different things going on. And have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.